Welcome to the Doc G Show, a radio show cluster. Without further ado, critics have said he has the face for radio and a voice for silent films. Your host, Ben Doc G Gordon.
And we are on the air. Welcome to the Doc G Show. I'm your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus Papa Fernicus Charette.
Say what?
Doc G, what's up, sir?
I just realized I didn't mean it to sound like that, Mike, but when I said Papa Fernicus, it almost sounded like some kind of euphemism for an erection. Huh? I'm going to be honest.
Papa Fernicus.
Papa Fernicus.
That was, Italy made me Papa Fernicus.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly, Mike. Well, now that I've lost half of our listeners already with that crude,
this is inappropriate.
Crude humor, I am sorry. I am sorry, listeners. Mike, how are you?
Doc G, I feel pretty good. I've done today. We're gonna lose some more listeners. I did the trifecta of bro science today. I got my cold exposure. I got my sun exposure, and then I did a 15-minute meditation. Man, I'm ready to go.
What about
Now
some grounding? Did you get grounding with that as well?
What do you do? How do you do
bro
that?
Bro science is big into grounding.
Grounding.
Yeah, you got to go barefoot. You got to go barefoot. You got to hit the well, in your case, the sand. You got to go out there and just sort of hit open dirt, you know. It's
okay. So just walk around on my feet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just walk around.
Yeah, I mean, your will grow 3 inches in the first couple minutes. It's amazing.
I don't know about walking around on the ground, man, barefoot. That's just I'll do some grass, but I'm not going to do any kind of desert gravel or anything
I'll be honest,
like that.
Mike, I don't know about any of those things. Nope. I crawl over to the couch from my bed and then just lay on it for about 35 minutes and go, oh, God, I guess I got to start the day. You know, that's basically it.
Doc G, it looks like you got a little beard trim there.
You're right.
Looking good, man.
You're right. Thank you.
I forgot to bring that up.
Thank you.
Yeah,
No. Yeah, you don't. No need to bring it up, Mike. But yes, thank you. It's once about a half a year, and it's been about a half a year, and I was like, you know what? Let's look a little more put together. Let's look like I'm not clinically depressed. Here we go. You know, Mike. A lot of things happened this past weekend. It's probably not going to amaze you, but I decided not to go to Coachella this year. Yeah. Mainly because I didn't have tickets. Nor did I want to travel that far. Nor would I actually want to be in that stank crowd. But I decided not to go, Mike. So mainly we could sum it up. I was not interested in going. But it seems like a lot of people had a lot of fun, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, there were a lot of celebrities doing their celebrity pictures. That always seems to be the most important thing, right?
Of course.
What you're wearing, where do you take the picture, who's performing behind you, that kind of deal. You know, good stuff. I saw Megan Thee Stallion. She had lots of people coming out. She had Ciara perform with her. She had Queen Latifah perform with her. That was neato, you know?
Yeah.
Now, along with that, Mike, the Masters golf tournament was also going on.
Yes!
Oh, yeah, Rory McIlroy.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this may surprise you. I didn't go to that either. No, yeah. But, Mike, I will say, you know, there's a couple things, because I did watch it. Not all of it, because, God, that's a lot of golf, right? I basically would just have it sort of all in the background, and then every now and then check up and just be like, oh, that person's ahead now. Weird. Okay. That was basically it. But there's a couple things about golf tournaments, Mike. First off, I'll say now, the guy that feels the need to yell, get in the hole really loud whenever a golfer hits a shot needs to be whipped publicly. Just beaten into submission.
Yeah, that's pretty annoying.
Not like what's your motive here, bud? What are you doing? Get in the hole! No, you're hilarious. You nailed it, everybody. This guy right here, and every hole there is somebody that is like, you know what's original? Let me give this a shot. This is really going to kill with everybody here.
Nope.
Oh, Mike, it's horrible. I was trying to think of an analogy in other areas that there's something so overdone that everybody does that you're just like, but it happens every tournament, Mike. Every tournament. Mike, I'll also say this. Just write this down as a fun thing to do next year. So next year when the Masters roll around, anytime you're watching it on TV and they cut to a shot of the audience, just try to find a person that isn't white. It's harder than finding Waldo, Mike. It is impossible. You're just like, no, all white. No, I only saw white people. Like, doesn't seem like golf in Georgia is connecting with a lot of demographic groups outside of white and khaki. That's pretty much that's it. Like, it's like a four-leaf clover. You'll be watching, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, so that's a non-white person there. Oh, wow. Good for them.
So true.
Speaking of the Masters, Mike, I was watching the Masters and I heard one golf analyst use a saying. They used a classic phrase I hear all the time. And they were talking about Roy McIlroy. And I think the validity of this phrase, Mike, depends on the context of where you use it. And the phrase is, it doesn't matter what other people think. You know?
I like that, yeah.
Right? A lot of people use that phrase. And I was like, and we can all get behind it. We're like, yeah, other people, you know? And like in the proper context, I can see that working. Like in golf, Mike, you know? Like if somebody thinks Rory McIlroy is a horrible golfer, it doesn't matter what they think. He is a Grand Slam winner now. He just won the Masters. Who cares? Your opinion is invalid. He has the trophy to prove it, you know? But then I started thinking about it. I was like, what about like the show, you know? Or what about like your stand-up, Mike? You know? Let's say something goes wrong in our show, you know? And we just had a real show for some reason, which just for the record, listeners, you all know that's never happened. But
no way.
Let's just say it happened, hypothetically, you know? And, you know, your friend, our friend, let's say we have a collective friend, they come up to us and they're like, hey, man, forget it. It doesn't matter what people think. I got to say, in that context, Mike, it does.
Yeah, it does.
It does. It does a lot, you know? Like on the micro level, again, I get it. I get the sentiment. I understand the idea. It should be about how you feel, being true to yourself, believing in what you do, you know? But ultimately, on the macro level, it's all about what other people think.
That's a fact.
Most things in life are based on what other people think. You get jobs on what other people think. You get recommendations on what other people think. You get into relationships because of what other people think. Your wife didn't think you were a that's why you got married, Mike. That was an opinion, right? That was what she thought.
Not at first.
Had to win her over. Had to win her over. But see, that's the thing. You won her over. That was what she thought.
Now I don't care what she thinks.
Now we're in the relationship. Forget it. But you could argue the overwhelming majority of everything you've learned and known about life is essentially from what other people think.
So true.
Mike, what if one of the people listening today was the author of the definitive encyclopedia on radio shows and podcasts? And they decide that our show blows donkey turds, and they decide to write that in their encyclopedia. That matters a little bit, Mike.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
Now I've got to go around telling people, don't buy the definitive encyclopedia on radio shows and podcasts because they don't know what they're talking about. And if I ever find a copy of it, I have to set it on fire. And I have to take the time to write my own copy of the definitive encyclopedia on radios and podcasts and talk about how amazing the Doc G show is and how life-changing it is. You know, that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Mike, context is important.
For sure.
You know? But more importantly, Mike, I'm ready to fire up this show. And you know what? I don't care what other people think. Are you ready to fire up this show?
Let's fire up the show, Doc G.
All 3 engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and lift off.
Oh, my goodness, Mike. We have a tremendous show. We have a guest that you were here for, that you were on the interview for, Mr. Charlie Berens. My gosh, just a super nice guy, you know? He just recently came through Jacksonville, getting ready to release a new special. I'm pretty sure he could tell you anything you need to know about Wisconsin, you know? Just a great guy. Just a great guy. But first, we need to start where we start, Mike.
Birthday suit.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Yeah, I think you got this first one. Here's the short clue, Mike. Born on April 16th, 1965 in Frankfurt, Germany. Shout out to the regular listeners in Frankfurt, Germany. Our birthday suit wearer is a comedian who starred in movies like, this is the biggie, Bad Boys, Nothing to Lose, Blue Streak, Big Mama's House, National Security, and Wild Hogs. Name that birthday suit wearer.
Martin Lawrence?
Martin Lawrence is correct.
Nice.
Nicely done, Mike. Martin Lawrence.
Born in Germany.
Yeah. His dad was in the old military there. Yeah. So he moved back to the old States when he was 7. And apparently, I didn't know this, Mike, big boxer back in the day. Like going all through high school. He was actually a Mid-Atlantic Golden Gloves contender. Yeah. Started doing comedy near the end of high school. Moved to New York City. Did a spot at the Improv. Some folks saw him at the Improv. Gave him a spot on Star Search, and then he got a bunch of little roles in film, of course. And then he had his hit show, Martin. That one I could not bring up because it's in the name. But 92 to 97. And then 95, he had, of course, the major success, Bad Boys with Will Smith. There you go. Martin Lawrence. Also didn't know this, Mike. I think I may have known this, and then I sort of forgot it. But, like, he almost died doing Big Mama's House.
Really?
Yeah, he was, like, preparing to film it, and he thought he would, like, get in shape for, like, being in the big suit. And so, like, he went running in, like, this crazy, like get up of, like, a sweatsuit and then, like, plastic bags all over it.
Oh, yeah. I've seen people do that.
And then he his body temperature went up to 107.
Jeez.
And he went into a coma for 3 days.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah. Had a heat stroke, severe heat stroke, obviously. But, yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow,
pretty
I
wild.
did not know that. Yeah.
Don't push yourself that hard,
No way.
Little lesson, guys. Little lesson. If it's hot outside, maybe wait until it gets a little less hot to do your exercise,
For sure.
Just an idea. But Martin Lawrence turning 60. The big
60.
6-0 for Martin Lawrence. There we go. Yeah.
Cool.
April 16th, 1965. All right. Mike, are you ready to rip some headlines?
Let's rip some headlines, Doc G.
It's now time for Rip from the Headlines.
Mike, this is a toughie. This first one. Disturbing headline from Food and Wine. Here's the headline.
Uh-oh.
Quote, I scammed the Pizza Hut's Book It program, and I have no regrets.
Wait, what?
You should regret it. It's a sacred program that I would be illiterate without. Okay? What is this, Mike? Mike, there are so many things wrong with this story.
So true.
First of all, she recounts going to Pizza Hut and eating the pizza and, quote, slurping down endless refills of Coca-Cola. Which never happened. Because we all know it's a Pepsi-owned business. Okay? But why am I not surprised that somebody would spread such lies when they're already willing to take advantage of one of the most special programs in the history of the world? Mike, before I go on, were you a participant in the Book It program?
I think once in like kindergarten.
Let's be
I don't know
honest. I wouldn't be too surprised if they didn't really promote it here in Florida.
Yeah, it wasn't a thing.
I was huge into it, Mike.
Yeah.
Huge. All the way through elementary school. You read a book, you got a free pizza, man.
Yeah.
That is
personal pan, right?
The personal pan.
Ones.
Yeah. It was one deal, Mike. I would go through a book in no time. Are you kidding me? I get to get fat if I get to read a book. I will do it, you know?
Yeah, I think we got it for grades. I don't think we got the it was a different program.
That's way too much investment. A grade?
I know.
Come on. No. We just read a book, and it could be a stupid book, you know? It could be like 10 pages with like a line on each page. You're like, did it? Give me a pizza, you know? But anyways, Mike, in case you were wondering, the author of this article was Kim Kelly. And if it weren't for the statute of limitations, I think she should be arrested for taking advantage of this program. But apparently her grandma was a retired teacher. And so she just had like this unlimited stack of Book It cards. And they would just eat for free on the Book It cards all the time. And I was like, at least your grandma could make you read a book. Mm-hmm. Maybe not even a book. Maybe just like a news article. Like half, like just 50%. Just be like, hey, read this. Okay, that's good. But no, there were no stipulations, Mike. They were just running wild.
Must be nice.
Yeah. But I will say, Mike, her waxing poetic on how great the Pizza Hut personal pan pizzas were, and because mainly of nostalgia, I had to agree. I was like, yeah, that is amazing.
So true.
Those awesome breadsticks, man. Just coated in the Parmesan and the salt and everything. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, love it, Mike. Mike, fun fact, you know where Pizza Hut was, where it originated?
No, I don't.
Wichita, Kansas.
Ah.
Such an American place. Right? That's where you'd think pizza's made. Wichita. You want a good slice of za? You go to Wichita. I didn't even mean to make that rhyme, Mike, but I did it.
It's catchy.
Yeah, exactly. Why didn't they do it? I don't know. Mike, I've got a story from the Hollywood Reporter here. Quote, "The Breakfast Club stars reunite for the first time in 40 years. Reflect on why the film wouldn't be made today." First off, Mike, have you seen The Breakfast Club?
No.
Oh, no, Mike. You need to see The Breakfast Club. It's good.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little synopsis.
Okay.
It's about 5 high school students, and they're all in detention. They have to come to, not even detention, like Saturday detention. They have to come to the school on Saturday.
Wait, isn't like Tom Cruise in this?
No.
And no? Okay.
No, Emilio Estevez, Molly Ringwald, I forget the other folks' names.
Okay, never mind.
But they were all sort of Brat Packy folks.
Gotcha.
But I will say one of the best things about the movie, Mike, one of the greatest songs ever written for a movie, "Don't You Forget About Me," performed by Simple Minds, written by Keith Forsey and Steve Schiff. I want to say I had it on the old one-hit wonders. I'm pretty sure it was on my top 3. Don't you forget about me. Don't. Oh, man. So good. And at the end of the movie, it's the song's going, and he puts his fist in the air. Oh, so good, Mike.
Yeah. Okay.
Anywho, like I said, such a great movie. And it is, it's one of the reasons why they said the film wouldn't be made. But, there's basically no plot to the movie. I mean, the plot is these high schoolers get to know each other when they're in detention.
Mm-hmm.
That's the plot. Like it's just all about these characters coming together. So the cast of Breakfast Club, they got together at the Chicago Comic Entertainment Expo this last Saturday, Mike, and they talked about the movie. I'll be honest, when I saw that headline, I was really hoping the reason they said it wouldn't be made today was because they now understand that smoking weed and then screaming real loud won't break glass.
Wait, what?
But apparently that wasn't the case. Because if you didn't know, Mike, there's a scene in the movie where these students smoke a joint in detention, and then it's like a dance montage where they're all doing wacky stuff because of the weed.
Yeah.
And Emilio Estevez's character, he starts dancing, he does some gymnastic moves, and then he screams so loud, he shatters the glass in the door.
Huh?
And you're like, yeah, I don't think that could happen. I think, I mean, it's sort of like supposed to be real, And you're like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the crazy part is the teacher that's supposed to be watching them is in the next room, and you're like, you're telling me he did not hear the dude screaming so loud he shattered glass? Like, ridiculous.
So
Mike.
what were some of the things that that would make the movie impossible to make now? I mean, are kids just not going to detention?
What he said was basically Estevez said it's movies today are totally concept driven. You've got you've got a big story, chase scenes, explosions, all that kind of stuff. And he said no movies are character driven, And this, like I said, it's just 5 people that get to know each other, and you learn about their personalities, and they get to know each other. That's it, But
I could see that. Yeah.
But I got to disagree with him, though, because I saw Banshees of Inisherin, and that was a completely character-driven movie. And it's a great movie. And as I said on the show, depressing as but it's great. And it has a Rotten Tomatoes rating of 96%. And there's nothing but characters going on in that movie. So
Okay.
I think you just got to find your lane, Mike.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you're trying to be in the movie theater, sure, it's got to be a concept, But if you're going on streaming and whatnot, nah, you're good, Mike, I've got a headline from People. I think you probably saw this. Did you see Katy Perry, Gayle King, Lauren Sanchez?
Oh yeah, man, they all went to space.
They did the old Blue Origin dong right up there into space. Flew the old dong up there and came back down. And here's the headline, Mike, from People. Quote, why Gayle King looked so miserable just before her flight to space. Mike, I honestly, this was a total guess. I was thinking she forgot her pre-flight dump. Holding it in all the way to space.
Shoot.
Oh, God! I should have went. Oh, this is bad.
Take this off.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But actually, that's not what happened, Mike. Oh. Basically, she was scared of That's what happened. Which I get. She said, quote, at the moment I was so afraid I just wanted to get into my seat because I just wanted to let the training kick in. And I got to be honest, Mike, if I were her, I'd be like, how can I get out of this right now? How can I just make up an excuse? Oh, God, my elbow, you guys. Yeah, it's hurting. I don't think I'm going to be able. Oh, ooh, yeah, no, you're going to have to I think we've been over this, Mike, but would you get on the Amazon?
Oh, man, and you wouldn't?
No.
Oh, man, yeah, I would definitely.
You know how many things have been blowing up in the skies recently? No, I don't trust any, especially old Bezos machine over there. No way.
Yeah, I don't feel good about a Bezos rocket, but
No.
I mean, hey, it's like, what do those tickets go for? Like $1 million each. I would
Pass.
definitely.
You know what? I'll
go
take
for
the
it.
buyout. If you want to give me 1/3 of that money, I will just do that instead of going.
How high up
there.
do they go? Do you know? Do you know?
Well,
where
I mean, they go
to?
past the atmosphere, of course. That's the whole idea. But
Yeah.
I forget the actual what the
I always wonder
the
about that.
mileage is.
Yeah.
But it is. I do know it's over a mile, of course. You know, they're well over a mile. I forget how many miles it is up, but anywho,
Cool.
Mike, I've got a headline from TMZ. Quote, Britney Spears strips down to skimpy lingerie on Mexico vacation. Wow. That is surprising, Mike.
Yeah, it is.
Britney Spears is in Mexico. Wow. I mean, come on, Mike. At this point, we only need news stories when she puts clothes on.
Yeah.
What? She's in a turtleneck? Somebody get at the cameras. Come on. It's crazy.
Back to the 90s.
Yeah, really. True story, Mike. I took a picture of this headline on my phone. And I was like, oh, that'll be good for the show. And then when I was writing my outline, I was went back to try to find it. And I put in, I forget what I put in the Google search, like Britney Spears lingerie, and 38 different stories from 38 different times came up, and I was just like, I guess I had to be more specific.
Yeah.
It's, but yeah, she still seems to be having fun, Mike.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's good that that's happening.
Anyways, she seems to be doing stuff, Mike. Mike, I've got a headline from the San Francisco Chronicle. This one caught my eye as well. Quote, "We've never stopped dreaming. All hail the return of San Francisco's free fried chicken strip club buffet." Now, Mike, from this headline, I originally couldn't tell if this was a buffet restaurant that only deals in chicken strips or if it were a strip club that gives out free fried chicken.
Oh, yeah, I can see the...
Little bit,
Yeah,
it was a little bit when you read that last part and it says free fried chicken strip club buffet. And I was like, all right. But it's a strip club, Mike, that's giving out free fried chicken.
Nice.
Not actually, I take that back. I looked in, I'm not sure where the headline came with that free because it's $5. Girl, come on! But this is at the Gold Club in San Francisco, Mike.
The Gold Club.
Yeah. Yeah, now the Gold Club stopped doing their fried chicken buffet because of COVID. They started it way back in the 2010s, And so I was reading the article there, and they have a picture of beans and rice, and they say a sampling of what to expect with your rice and beans side dishes on this buffet can be seen above. Plus, add scantily clad dancers aggressively trying to con you into buying a lap dance. And I gotta say, Mike, there's no con. And by the way, you pay $20 for a lap dance, you're still leaving there spending less than you would have at half the restaurants in San Francisco. $25?
Yeah.
Come on. And last time I checked, there's no tariffs on naked ladies at the Gold Club.
Nope.
So we're good. We are good, Mike.
Doc G, how do you feel about a chicken restaurant called the Strip Club?
Ooh, oh. Mike, I might have to cut that from the show. So we are going head to head with Canes with that, my friend. That's good. I like that. I like that a lot. We are doing it.
That's stupid.
Right after we go to the Gold Club. Yeah, I think that it's actually good, man. That is
people are trying to be edgy with their restaurant
I was about to say
stuff
it's edgy enough, but it's also just gimmicky enough that people are going to be like, "What? The strip club? You going? Yeah, we're going to the strip club." Like, I could see it.
But you would have to kind of lean into it a little bit with your restaurant theme, right? So you would have to bring some elements of a strip club into your chicken strip restaurant.
Serve the ranch sauce on little nipple tassels. There you go.
It's totally dark in there.
You got big old leather booths.
There's no windows on the restaurant.
There's a pool table in the middle. Yeah, that's the good stuff. I feel like then we would not do well, Mike. I feel like that would be crossing a line.
Yeah. I got you,
Mike.
Sorry.
I've got a headline here from Fortune. Quote: 24-year-old eats a 65-cent breakfast every day, skips salon visits, and has saved $90,000. She's a part of Gen Z's FIRE movement. and plans to retire by 40.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm going to guess FIRE is an acronym that stands for delusional.
So true.
Mike, actually, FIRE stands for
Something
financial.
retire. Yeah, sorry. I was trying to remember what it was. I love retire early is the last part, but
Financially independent.
Retire
early.
Gotcha.
Financially independent. Retire early. But Mike, this is dumb. I hate to say this is dumb, but this is dumb. Let's say, I mean, just real quick, Mike. Let's say it took her 2 years to save $90,000, which is obviously impossible unless her job is a crack dealer. Nonetheless, it says in the article she needs to save $1.65 million to be able to live off of her passive incomes, i.e. her savings and investments. Do the math. That would take over 18 years at a minimum to reach $1.65 million. So you're already over the age of 40, and that's assuming no major purchases like cars or houses, no major life events like having a kid, and no major accidents or loss of job. My point is, you're not retiring when you're 40, so stop eating your 65-cent breakfast and enjoy your life a little bit.
Yeah, enjoy your life. Come on.
I just like 65 cents. That, Mike.
What's the breakfast, though?
I don't know. It didn't say. It just said 65-cent breakfast.
It's like some kind of bacon and egg special at a casino.
At a strip club. It's fried chicken. I'm guessing, Mike, I'm betting it's like oatmeal, Oatmeal's cheap. I bet you it's just a big pile of oatmeal. Sad, cold oatmeal, Yeah. But, I get it. Save your money, but if you're doing it, and it ruins everything, don't do it. Why, if you're living like a pauper and just everything you do, you're like, oh, I can't do this. That's horrible.
Yeah,
so
and then when you finally retire, you'll probably not spend money because you'll be too,
yeah, it's ingrained in you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, and then what? You're broken down and old anyways. Do it now. At least have a little bit of fun, Anyways.
Yeah, get in debt like the rest of us. Come on.
Get out there. Anyways, Mike, I've got a headline from BuzzFeed here. Quote, if you can answer 100 out of 414 of these general questions, you're smarter than 90% of people.
Word.
Who sees this headline and says, you know what? I've got 6 hours to waste. Let's get in this thing. Who's taking an MCAT when they see this BuzzFeed quiz, Mike? This is crazy. And then who are you telling the results to? Are you going to parties and you're like, oh yeah, your IQ is 128? Well, I took a BuzzFeed quiz, and I'm smarter than 90% of people. So it's crazy, Mike. I'm guessing you would not take a quiz like this, right?
No. Man. But I do like measuring my typing speed against other people.
Ooh. What's the fastest you've ever been clocked at?
Man, I don't know. I forgot what it was, but it was pretty good. It was pretty solid. But I was practicing for 30 minutes a day for a solid couple months.
Now, I'm guessing you actually took typing in high school or something, right?
I did, but I failed, man, because I was always looking at the keys using two fingers, but I was like, you know what? I want to get more efficient at typing. So there's there's websites, and then you can measure yourself against other people, and I think that's cool.
Nice.
But no BuzzFeed quiz.
Nice.
It's too many questions.
At my job, Mike, one of my coworkers, 104 words per minute without errors. Zero errors in that time frame. That was pretty impressive. I was like, Jesus, you're a machine.
That is good, yeah. I think I got up to 80.
Mine is 50 and 450 errors in that 50 minutes. Every single word, I'm like, up, and again, up. And it's and I'm like, oh man, if I didn't have to rewrite that word 15 times, it would have been a lot faster.
That's a fact.
Mike, no. I've only got headlines that I'm not too interested in. So you know what? We're gonna wrap it up right here. Mike, we are gonna be right back here on the Doc G Show. are back here on the Doc G Show. Spinnaker Radio, WSKRLP 95.5 FM in Jacksonville, Florida. Mike, what do the listeners need to do?
Well, Doc G, if the listeners feel like the show is a positive way to waste their time, they should please subscribe to the show wherever they get their podcast. We are everywhere: Apple, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, Sirius, Pandora Plus. It's a cost-effective way to support the show. And listeners, if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a 5-star review.
Yeah.
We would appreciate that.
Yeah. And remember, listeners, very important, on Spotify, just go on there and search for the Doc G Show. And just go through all the lists until you find the Doc G Show and click on it. I think that changes their algorithm, right? It has to, right?
Yeah.
I think that does something. I don't know. We're up against the machine, listeners.
We are.
I don't know what to do. Anywho, Mike, we do need to thank, though, the folks that are 5-star listeners. And Mike, as you already know, and listeners know because they listened to the show last week, I totally those names last week. But in my head, that's
okay.
the amazing thing. In my head, I was like, no, I said those perfectly. That was exactly it. So you know what, Mike? I'm gonna go fairly slow on this one. I'm just gonna cruise through these. I'll still, but I'm gonna cruise through these. Here we go.
Shoutouts.
Shout out to Piracai, Brazil, San Diego, California, Dublin, Ireland, Boardman, Oregon, Genoa, Italy, Richardson, Texas, Barcelona, Spain, Winfield, West Virginia, Biloxi, Mississippi, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Peoria, Illinois, Katy, Texas, Toms River, New Jersey, Olive Branch, Mississippi, Asheville, North Carolina, Los Angeles, California, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Athens, Georgia, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Chicago, Illinois, Boynton, Virginia, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Columbus, Ohio, Falkenstein, Germany, Jacksonville, Florida, Columbia, South Carolina, Radford, Virginia, Gainesville, Florida, Frankfurt, Germany, Fort Worth, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, Anoka, Minnesota, and Ashburn, Virginia.
Shoutouts.
There we go, Mike.
Nice.
There we
Great job, Doc.
Yeah, you know, you slow it down a little bit and you don't screw up as much. There were some tongue twisters, though. But then because I said I was going to screw up, I was overthinking it, Mike. Put a little too much pressure on myself. Yeah, I was thinking that about the Masters, you know. It's crazy. The amount, like, it's unlike any other sport. Me and my brother were talking about it. It's unlike any other sport because, like, you know, with the Masters, right, it's 4 days of golf, and they are all cumulative. So, like, Rory, when he was in the lead the second to last day, he went home going, okay, I'm in the lead. And all he had to do was 12 hours of thinking about being in the lead. Like, it just builds on top of itself. You're not in the moment. You've got 12 hours of just waiting going, yeah, I'm going to be playing here tomorrow. Yeah, I'm number one. Yeah, everybody's going to be watching me. Like, that is, oh, my God. I would screw up so bad, Mike. Oh, my God. Talk about the pressure. It's crazy.
Yeah. There is too much time to to mess up.
And then,
to overthink it.
And
maybe.
then you watch that final hole. There's just like 12,000 people just surrounding the whole course that I'm just like, no way I would screw up so bad. Like, oh my gosh, it's nutter butters. Anywho, Mike, which as listeners can obviously agree, me reading a couple of city names, the exact same.
So true.
Exact same level of pressure right there, Mike. That was, and somehow I delivered. Anyways, 4-star listens, Mike. Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to Brooklyn. Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out to Atlanta. Sao Paulo, Brazil. London, England. Charlotte, North Carolina. Boston, Massachusetts. Tokyo, Japan. Singapore. Montreal, Canada. Johannesburg, South Africa. Detroit, Michigan. Manchester, England. Seattle, Washington. Charleston, South Carolina. Oslo, Norway. And Ottawa, Canada, Mike.
Shout out.
There we go.
Oslo.
There we go. Oslo. Getting it in.
That's a cool place. I've been
Yeah?
there.
No?
Yeah.
Oh, why'd you go to Oslo?
My wife, she had a She was a flight attendant, so
okay.
flew over there with her.
Nice. You were like, might as well take a little advantage, you know? I got you.
It was nice.
I got you.
Nice place. It was cold. A lot of
I
snow.
don't doubt it. Norway's not warm often.
No.
Mike, we need to open up the old previously on the Doc G Show.
Previously on the Doc G Show.
Mike, this is very important. Last week on the show, I was giving facts about Phoenix. And I said, incorrectly, that it had the tallest fountain in the world.
Girl, come on!
I apologize. It just shows you what you get for trusting random facts on the internet, Mike. Because that was wrong as and I apologize. I apologize. I want to say here and now, if someone died because of my claims that Phoenix had the biggest fountain, I sincerely apologize. Mike, the fountain in question is, let me see here. It's the fifth tallest fountain in the world. It is in Fountain Park, Mike, which is in Fountain Hills. And when it shoots the fountain up, it's higher than the Washington Monument. Fountain runs every hour on the hour, 15 minutes from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It was built in 1970 by Robert McCulloch, and it uses 7,000 gallons of water per minute.
Jeez.
Mike, there is a live feed on their website. And you better believe I watched it, Mike.
That's right.
I got on there on the hour, and it was majestic.
Nice.
Yeah, it shot up. It shot up. Now, apparently, they don't shoot it up to its maximal height for the hour shot. They only do that like on holidays. Like on like the 4th of July, they crank it up to max, you know?
Yeah. So what's the maximum?
The
Taller than the Washington
Monument.
Monument.
So they usually shoot, it's like 340 some feet, but it can go up to like, I think it's 580, I want to say. But
wow. It's a huge difference.
Don't quote me on that one, listeners.
Oh, we won't, Doc G. We won't.
I'm not standing by that one. Now, Mike, like I said, it's fifth on the list of tallest fountains. And I will say, in my defense, it did hold the title as world's tallest fountain for 15 years.
That's a fact.
And also, in my defense, Mike, I will say still, it's probably not the best idea to shoot water up in the air in the middle of the desert. Just saying. Maybe, like it'd make more sense if it was in Seattle. They've already got a lot of water, Not too worried about it. Like, in the middle of the desert, maybe save a little bit of it. So I feel like you get a lot of it just evaporating when you shoot it up that high into the air. That air's so dry, it only evaporates like that, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Just saying. Anywho, there you go. There you go. Listeners, I apologize for my Phoenix fact, and now you know the truth. Now you know the truth about the world's tallest. And by the way, world's tallest fountain, Saudi Arabia. So
I was just about to ask, Saudi Arabia.
So they were like, hey, you know what? We're a desert. Let's waste some water. And theirs is insane, Mike. I want to say it's like 800 some feet.
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
it's up there. It is really up there. It's named after one of the kings, the former kings. But anywho, Mike, we need to take a break. We are going to be right back with none other than Charlie Berens right here on the Doc G Show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are very happy to be welcoming a fantastic comedian who will be at the Terry Theater on April 12th for the Good Old Fashioned Tour, we have none other than Mr. Charlie Berens. Charlie, how are you, sir?
Hello, I am good. Thank you guys for having me on.
Of course. Real quick, I wanted to ask, did you ever go through a Charles phase?
That's more of like your mom's off at you kind of a thing, traditionally speaking.
Makes sense.
Or like a first day of school, and they have like the standard government names on all of them. No nicknames written yet. That's pretty much the only time I've gone by Charles. Nothing against it,
I can relate. I for some reason automatic. I think my Zoom actually still says right now Benjamin. Yeah, it does. It still says Benjamin.
You got the full Benjamin.
That's weird for me. I don't go by Benjamin that often.
Benjamin's a good one. I mean, it's kind of like if you could easily be a Ben, but you choose for the extra 2 syllables in that. I mean, that's a power move right there.
I feel like I'm asking for too much if I ask a person to call me Benjamin. I'm like, that's a lot. Because most people that have 3-4 syllables in their name and they demand to be called, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
You don't have a couple, we can cut it down to 1 or 2? It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. But I mean, like I said, it is a power move. It's definitely a move. I don't know how much power you're going to get from it, but.
Well, now you're on the Good Old Fashioned Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Referring to the drink.
Yeah. Kind of double meaning, but the drink is certainly the primary meaning of that.
Now, on a scale of 0 to the Packers, how popular is the Old Fashioned in Wisconsin?
Oh, it's right up there with the Packers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a classic supper club cocktail, and maybe not right up there with the Packers. I'd say Packers is like 100, and Brandy Old Fashioned, that's probably like a 94 in the mix, if I were to give it an honest rating.
I like it.
But, it's pretty solid cocktail if you haven't had it. Involved brandy, bitters, soda, cherries, bitters. Did I say bitters?
You said bitters.
A little muddling, a little love, a wicked hangover if you have too many of them. So,
now you have your own brandy.
Yeah, I got my own brandy. Yeah, it's called Berens Old Fashioned Brandy. Did not name it after myself. I named it after my grandpa Bob, of course, because it would be egotistical to name it after yourself. It just help it. We got the same last name. So Berens Old Fashioned Brandy. Yeah, that's the deal there.
Now, is it how I don't want to say disgusting, but how odd is it for a Wisconsinite to see an old fashioned be made with something other than brandy?
Oh, yeah. Well, we're used to it. If we're going out and abroad, it's pretty rare to find someone making an old fashioned with brandy. And in fact, what we typically see is more the disgust of the bartender when we ask it. They're pissed off. They don't like that at all, especially if you go, man, we were doing a show down in Louisville, and which I think I kind of mispronounced that. I know it's not Louisville. Which is what I initially said when I went down there, and I was reprimanded. But anyway, that's where the old fashioned was. That's where it started.
Yes,
I was told, and there, no, it is all bourbon all day. And the fact that you even suggest brandy, just like they look at you in disgust. So I would say it's more being looked at in disgust than looking at others in disgust.
I feel like maybe you should just make your like a Wisconsin old fashioned, so people know. Brandy.
So they know. Yeah. I mean, and that is kind of how it goes. Even so, they're not going to be happy that you're putting 7-Up in a.
That's not going to make them feel better.
No, just because you put Wisconsin in front of it, it helps a little bit, because then you're not completely calling the drink that they know and love the exact same name. But yeah, we can all work to meet in the middle somehow.
I mean, if we can tie it back to the long names, I mean, why are people so tied to the name? It's still a drink. It's doing the same thing. Come on, settle down.
Right.
It's gonna get you drunk. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See? Let's start with the common ground, then work our way out. That's
Amen.
what we gotta be doing.
Amen. Well, now you actually mentioned this. This is a common supper club drink.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was fascinated by this. Mike knows I came across this article like a year ago about supper clubs and how much the Midwest loves supper clubs. And I knew nothing about supper clubs. This was a brand new, exciting thing for me.
Yeah.
How often do you go to a supper club?
It's not like an everyday situation. It's a nice occasion situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you've got like a funeral that you got to attend, chances are the after party is going to be at a supper club of some sort.
Okay.
If you've got a wedding you're going to go to, chances are between the wedding and the reception, you're going to be stopping at a supper club.
Wow.
If you're just kind of driving down the road and you see a supper club you haven't been to yet, you're going to be going to said supper club. So it's not a Monday through Friday thing.
Yeah.
It's more of a every other Friday thing.
Now, are there
driving a lot?
Oh, Charlie, I know you started doing stand-up in LA, but can you do stand-up at supper clubs? Do they have shows at supper clubs?
That's a great idea. In fact, I've thought about that, hosting some shows there. I played a couple supper clubs now that I'm talking out loud and remembering things. I played a couple. They were for like an event that a company was throwing, and they had their shindig at the supper club, and I was doing a little comedy for them. Another was a fundraiser. And so,
little corporate-esque type gigs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like smaller, more private affairs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a real intimate setting for that. Can those people cracked open the pocketbooks and really splurged on the venue, because these supper clubs are a hot commodity. So to, take one off the books on a Tuesday night, I mean, that nice. They put some WD-40 on that wallet. Let that credit card slide right out.
Well, all right. I mean, Wisconsin does love, like, it's crazy. You've got your own website dedicated to supper clubs. And, I mean, there's like, it's put in regions, 4 quadrants of Wisconsin. And there's like, I don't know how many's on that website. It's like 400 somewhere around that ballpark. It's crazy.
Good number.
But I was perusing the names on the Wisconsin supper clubs, and I noticed in Madison, which I'm sure you're familiar with, there is a supper club called the Old Fashioned.
Yes, the Old Fashioned is there. I think you're talking about the one right up there on the square, and there's also the Tornado Room not too far away. So those are both right there. And then, I mean, so you've got, I think, a lot of great entities right there looking over the Capitol. But
Nice.
That's not the only place they are. I mean, they're spread out. You'll find them next to your Lions Club, your Lions Den, by
other animal hangouts.
Yeah, the Moose Lounge. We don't have those around here, but you understand. Yeah.
Wait, now, do you have any particular supper club that you would like to give a shout out to right now?
Oh, I would say Schultz's over there in Dickeyville really has my heart. So
that sounds like a good local hang right there.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. If you guys are out, find yourself in Dickeyville, don't go driving too fast through it, because you're going to want to stop and check out the wood paneling over there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they really did a number.
I like it.
So that's a good spot. I mean, you throw a stone, you're going to find yourself you're going to find yourself in the vicinity, as you said. And really, it's mostly a Wisconsin thing. It's not even the larger Midwest. Really, Wisconsin has owned that supper club space.
So you're basically saying we can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. No. And
Love
if you
it.
do happen to go wrong on accident, just have yourself one of those old fashions and you're going to forget about it. So, yeah, they make them strong there.
Well, now, speaking of Madison, you went to school in Madison.
Oh, yeah, Badger.
For journalism.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear it was a little bit of a combination. Your brother Andy was also in journalism.
Yes, he was. Well,
and-
he didn't study journalism, but he worked at the paper. And he was the editor-in-chief of the high school newspaper.
Gotcha.
So he's familiar with the field.
And then a little bit Jon Stewart, a little bit Stephen Colbert that also tickled your interest there.
Yeah, that because I was in news early on and I was sort of getting into comedy, and just that this was like 2008, 2009. I was a junior, senior in college, and I was just starting to do the news thing, but I also like this entertainment aspect. I started working for MTV News at that point, covering the election year, and so it was a lot of like blending sort of entertainment, or like infotainment was sort of what they called it back then, with just blending entertainment and news. And then over time, through a couple other companies I worked for, I started using the news as a setup for punchlines, you know. And that's kind of how I started in comedy, was talking about the news and that kind of stuff.
Well, I was going to say, because I've heard you bring up working for MTV as far as covering the election. How did you come across that gig?
That was, I think my girlfriend at the time maybe sent me like a little ad for it. And I applied, and I don't know that anybody else did. And so I got the job, I mean, it was kind of like before Twitter was even a thing, how long ago this was. And so I just applied and I got it, and it was cool. Went to New York, and they gave you a camera, and a lot of things to think about for how to shoot and edit your stories, a computer, some editing software. So it was sort of my first foray into editing a video every week, which was also cool.
Absolutely. Well, now I've heard you say multiple times, before journalism or comedy, you were thinking musician.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. I wanted to be like the next Bob Dylan. That was kind of my thing. I had no real skills to back any of that up, but that's what I wanted to do at that point in my life, was, because I liked writing. Writing was always sort of the thing that has been consistent in all these sort of journalism, music, comedy. Yeah. So I enjoyed that. But yeah, originally, I had the little thing with the harmonica holder, the acoustic guitar. Singing out of pitch, that was my jam right there.
Now, was Bob Dylan really like the main musical inspiration?
Oh yeah, and if you ever hear me sing, you can still hear that. Usually when I go flat. But yeah, that's for sure. I really loved him. Yeah.
Nice. Did you see the most the Timothy Chalamet there?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Did you guys see it?
I have not seen it. I feel like I should.
Yeah, give it a go.
Okay.
It's a good, like, I need.
How would you say it compares to like the other, like, the other like the Walking the Line, or the like Ray with Jamie Foxx? Is it on those levels?
It's definitely on those levels as far as biopics go. I mean, look, I'm not a movie connoisseur. I'm sure some people had problems with something in it, but I felt like it was pretty good, and did a good job of not like over glamorizing Bob Dylan, but treating him like kind of the complicated human that he kind of is, sort of the enigma, kind of a little surly fella, not really even sure why, but he is. So
he's elusive too. He's just it's right through there.
Right. Yeah.
When now you actually did though. I mean, you fulfilled the musical dream to a degree because you have released albums, 2 albums there with Adam. In 2020 and 2023. Were you pretty psyched when you actually started working on these? Like, hey, all right, we're achieving a life moment here.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like you never take a straight line to your destination. You got to take the curviest path you can find, maybe a circle. Me and Adam Gruhl, whose band Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, some people know that. And it was just super fun to kind of like, they're kind of comedy songs, but then there's also some like just normal songs on there. And it was just experimenting and having fun. And I really enjoyed it. It was cool. I mean, it's not like the biggest part of sort of what I do, but I'm super happy that I was able to do it. And, I'm always sort of thinking, I've got like a whole note section of different songs, so there may be another album out there. That's really a sort of a project of love, which is a nice way of saying people aren't pulling those off the shelves in mass droves. But, it's all promotion game. We just really promote it. So I appreciate you bringing it up. Yeah, Unthawed and Dive Bar Dinner. So
of course. Yeah. Now you were, I mean, what was it almost like 50-50 as far as the songwriting?
Yeah, it was probably 50-50. I may have done a scotch more of the lyrics. Adam did the music and the composing.
Gotcha.
I would have basic chord progressions that I wrote the song with, and then Adam would either agree with those or disagree in a good way, because he would yes and it. He would say, I like this, but I'm gonna add it and make it feel like an actual piece of music and not just whatever that. So
yes, now let's add some music. Here we go.
Exactly.
Well, now after you graduated from college, you took a job in local news, and this is in your last special. Your first job there was in Dallas, Texas. Had you thought about comedy when you took that job?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, that job started it was called Nightcap, a different kind of news. And the whole thing was, it is going to be kind of like, entertainment news show. This was at a time when people were just starting to not watch local news, or that had been going on for a while. But they were like, what if we did something different to get the younger kids back to TV? Well, we all can know how that was going to go. I mean, kids were not going back to TV. So really what happened was they just scrapped it after a couple months and said, okay, now we're going to make this back to just traditional news, or as close to traditional news as we can kind of get.
Now, is that where you got the boot, or did you really get the boot from what you say in your special?
Yeah. Well, so what I said in my special, that wasn't the exact. That's where comedy turns into exaggeration a little bit. I didn't get fired. Saying, I think bubbler on air, but I did say bubbler on air, and people were like, "What the are you talking about?" And it wasn't just that. There were a lot of things I said, and a lot of things, and so it was a Wisconsin accent coupled with just, not always really being great live. I was just sort of finding my rhythm, and it's a whole thing. Anyway, for a variety of reasons, largely performance based, I did get the boot. But the accent was definitely one thing that always kept popping up. Like, there was another job that I had where I was doing a voiceover, And they were like, yeah, we can't put this out at all, dude. This doesn't even sound like English. And that was, so there's a lot, that's all the truth behind those jokes. But then, to tell it in a concise story, sometimes you cut to the chase and say that.
Sure.
So-
Well, now, so you started actually doing stand-up, though, when you moved out to L.A.?
Yes. Yep. That's when I started doing it, and doing the open mics and, doing like the bringer shows at the Comedy Store or whatever, or, being the guy to work the music, bring up so you could get 10 minutes of time,
Yeah.
and that's how it sort of worked at the Comedy Store. And then everywhere else, it was just go and do 3 minutes in some coffee shop where it's just 9 comedians on their phone the whole time, not listening to you. And I'm like, well, yeah, I think that went well. That's the open mic scene, man. It's a tough one.
Oh, it's yeah. Did you do you remember the first appearance, the first stand-up?
Yeah. Yep, sure do.
Was it a bomb or was it a good reaction?
Oh, this was a bomb. Like, you can't imagine. First of all, it was at this little coffee shop, but it wasn't even inside the coffee shop. It was outside. Because as we all know, like, nothing complements comedy like the sound of traffic in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And then I wrote this whole thing. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, I'm going to be the next Bill Burr. Look at this. And the only thing I got a laugh out of was the one thing I didn't write, but it was me roasting how bad my set was going. So, that's, and then I didn't get back on stage for another 6 months because I was, I was just like, it's anxiety inducing.
Yeah.
Especially if you're questioning, is this really for you?
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely wasted a lot of time not being on stage in that way. So I always tell people, if you're just starting stand up or doing it, just go and expect to bomb, no matter how good you think your writing is. And what really changed for me, though, was like internalizing what I wrote, and the way I did that was by memorizing it. The way I memorized it was by sitting in LA traffic, because I had nothing. There's nothing worse than being nervous in front of people and trying to remember your set.
Yeah.
So like, if I could have that down, once I got that part down, then I was able to just sort of be in the moment a little bit more. And then I was like, okay, I got something here.
Once it was like secondhand. Yeah.
Which sounds pretty basic, but you'd be amazed how many sets I went to just kind of knowing what I was going to say,
And so many people get up there, they think they're going to just freestyle. They're just going to be that, they're going to be Dave Chappelle on the first go round and just be like, so anyways, what's going on in the news today, guys? I'm slick,
Right.
Doesn't pan. Or like when you started out doing those, were there comics that you were looking up to, and like at that time, like, I mean, you mentioned like Bill Burr. Was that one of the guys you were looking up to?
Yeah, I mean, still looking up to him. There were just a bunch of people kind of in that scene that I don't even remember their names, but I would see them go up and I would be like, oh, that's how you do it, or that's the vibe you need to have. Like, oh, it sounds like he didn't just write that joke 2 hours before he was going to go on. Like, he had some tags, he had some nice things going.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was more sort of that one step above you, those people that were like, they'd been there a little bit longer than you, that you were learning from.
Yeah. And I even took a class. I took a couple classes because, which I liked. A lot of people say you can't take a stand-up comedy class. You either have it or you don't. I don't really know. I don't think I had it, frankly. And then the classes helped significantly. And really what the classes did was, give you you have to get on stage at this time every week thing. And so I think getting yourself into a thing where you're forced to be on stage.
Yeah.
That was helpful for me.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I always point out, me and Mike have talked about it before. I mean, you know, Jim Gaffigan, one of the best to ever do it, was a big, you know, sort of believer in going to classes, and like said it helped him so much doing classes. So, you know. Yeah.
You can just see stuff in like the writing structure. And for some people, there's a million different brains out there, and every brain works a different way. So some brains are going to like to see, oh, there's a structure, like this is a is-like joke, or this is juxtaposition, or this is like using a cultural reference, or this is small thing made big, or big thing made small. And then when you've got a story or you've got facts about yourself, you're like, okay, which one of these kind of fits here? And then you can sort of play with the mechanics of that, you know?
Well, now, how long did you do stand up in LA before you developed the Manitowoc Minute?
So it was about a year, and I had like maybe a year and a half, something like that. But I had been doing sort of hosting at that time, like, you know, various shows. So I had some skill set. It was not good at all, but I had some skill set. And then I did a show that went particularly well at the Comedy Store. And I remember thinking, oh, that was such a great feeling, but only 50 people saw it. And then that's when I decided to do the Manitowoc Minute. And then that popped off. And then over the next 3 months, I kept doing that consistently, and I built up a fan base. And then I was offered a headlining show, and I only had 12 minutes. So, you know, and this is a classic case of like influencer, I guess you would call it, getting a stand-up opportunity. A lot of times what happens in that situation is they are ill prepared, and they go up there and that's the last one that they do, because it's so full for an hour. But I really worked on it. And then I also used Keynote, like a screen, to kind of like bring the news headlines and sort of build it out. And that padded my hour, so I could kind of slowly like gain the confidence to just become an actual stand-up. That process took a while. Yeah. And I was lucky that people were, you know, buying tickets, and that I was able to do kind of this show type thing that wasn't really a stand-up show, more of a variety show. I think because I had all that experience in like local news and doing all these other like YouTube type shows or whatever, that that I was able to kind of get away with it, you know.
Yeah. Well, now, was that a little bit more comedic magic, or was there a dude really at one of those bringer shows?
No, that guy was there. That
he existed?
Yeah. And dude from Manitowoc in the Comedy Store. He's the guy named the Manitowoc Minute after. I mean, that all.
Have you ever been able to see him again?
No. I have the recording, I think, somewhere on my phone of him doing it. I know I found it a little while ago. But
I wonder if I wonder if he remembers, if he knows, like if he's like, I'm that dude.
Yeah, I wonder that too. I think he had a few drinks that night, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but you know, it's very possible that he's putting those pieces of the puzzle together. But
he was there at the Comedy Store asking for old fashions with brandy and getting a bad look.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they did not do old fashions the right way at the Comedy Store, from my recollection, either.
Well, now, did you? So when you posted the Manitowoc Minute, was that like? Did you get the idea of that sort of character in stand-up before you were like, hey, I should do this as a social media, and then it sort of bounced back the other way when it was popular on social media, that you're like, oh, I can really do this in stand-up?
Yeah. Because that was the thing that like I would try all kinds of stuff in stand-up. Obviously, the thing that was consistently working or that would save my set if I did bad was kind of bringing that accent into it. It was sort of my crutch, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, at this point, I'm almost 30 years old. I need a crutch. So why don't I lean into this a little bit, you know? And I'm glad I did because, that's sort of what allowed me to take off with it. But definitely not
Absolutely.
a traditional stand-up like origin story,
Yeah. When I hear the majority of the Wisconsinite character, like you mentioned before, Grandpa Bob.
Yes.
Nice. Can you think of like the most Wisconsinite Grandpa Bob story you have?
Oh man, I mean, well, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you this, like, my grandpa. If I want to remember my grandpa, I just go up to my grandma Sue's, and I go in the garage, and I look at the paintbrush that's still dangling from the string from the rafters to prevent the car from hitting the broken tractor. So that's iconic, Grandpa Bob. Where you see that he's still got his Air Jordans, that his Lake Jordans, because they were just a pair of shoes that he would wear into the lake to pull the dock out, that kind of stuff. I mean, a big part of my stand-up show now is kind of recollecting a lot of those things. But one of the things is we were out fishing. We were going for muskie, and my grandma was trying to get my grandpa not to swear, not to say God's name in vain. So he's trying to clean it up. And we get this muskie in, or muskie's on the line. He goes, "Oh, Christ Almighty." So instead of he changed the wrong word. He said Almighty instead of, he was meant to say Cripes Almighty. He says, "Oh, Christ Almighty," or God Almighty.
I think he might have got credit for it. He was. It was an attempt,
It was just misfiring of a few synapses. But yeah, he's good. He's good.
Well, now you like got this great response, and I'm guessing. I mean, I'm guessing you got the best response in Wisconsin. Did you immediately like think I can probably take this around the whole country, or were you a little bit like, this might not travel all the way around the country?
Yeah, no. Initially, what I did Wisconsin for probably a year. Maybe a year and a half. And then when the Packers season rolled around, I was like, oh, what if we just go to like an away game? Oh, I can't remember if that was, I think we'd said we'd do away games, or I was Googling my name once just because that's what you do when you're vain. And the one of the things that came up or that was being suggested was Nashville, like Charlie Berens' Nashville. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder why that's the case. So I was, what if we do a show in Nashville just to see? And then it sold out, and I think we might have sold 2 of them out at Zany's down there. And that's when we kind of started to see, like people from the Midwest, people from Wisconsin, Packers fans, whatever, they leave, but then they want to find each other again. And that's what we found kind of all around the country, is that Midwesterners leave, but they're looking for any excuse to kind of get back together, which is why in any major city you go to, there's probably a Packers bar, or there's a Badgers bar, or some kind of Midwest sports team bar. And so then we toured with the Packers. We went to all the away games one year. Just set up small shows. Those all went well. And then at that point, we were just kind of broadening the base a little bit. And then my comedy also started to go from like jokes about the Midwest to more of like a Midwest guy's perspective about the world. And so then it kind of allows wherever you're from to kind of get in the mix on it. There's still a lot of Midwest references and all that, but it's set up in a way that anyone can understand it.
Nice. Now, since traveling all over the country and doing hundreds and hundreds of shows, what would you say? What area of the country would you say represents the Midwest outside of the Midwest the most?
Yeah, man. That's tough. There's so many places. Like even if you look at like the Phoenix area or like Florida, you've got so many Midwesterners that have gone there. You know, it's essentially Midwest South, Midwest Southwest. You know, Denver's got a huge population. You know, even if you go out to like the Pacific Northwest, it just feels like you're home. I struggle to say like which place in particular, because there's so many huge just Midwest centers in all these cities. You know, it's kind of crazy.
I feel like the Northwest is like one of the few places that might be able to out bad weather the Midwest.
Yeah.
Like, we're cold and rainy. How about that? Just all the time.
Yes, there's definitely, now the temperature doesn't quite dip to where, you know, you're dealing with some Arctic sort of temperatures as you deal with in Wisconsin a fair amount, but yeah, like you look at people walking around, they're kind of dressed the same. It's, you know, but the flannels they might probably got from like REI instead of Fleet Farm. That's the only difference, you know, but it's still pretty similar. I
feel like that rain chills you to the bone in the Northwest, man. It's something about it makes a Northwest Originals sad, where something about it, the cold in the Midwest makes people friendly. It's a weird dynamic. I don't know what happens there.
Yeah, I think you just realize that, you know, is it when kind of the weather sucks so bad, you start to sort of appreciate the small things. I think that might be it. That could, at its simplest form, you know, like 7-Up in an old fashioned, you know.
Well, speaking of old fashioned, as far as the current show, for folks that are already familiar with your with the Midwest Goodbye, what can they expect out of this new show if they're coming here in Jacksonville?
Yeah. I mean, Midwest Goodbye, again, it was very much me talking about the Midwest and also talking about my family and all that. But this new hour, it's sort of the world from a Midwest perspective. So kind of touch on a whole host of things. And then there's a lot of like my family dynamic brought into that as well. Like I'm one of 12 kids, you know, everything from growing up in a family of 12 to going to the casino with my grandma. Those kinds of things are what we kind of focus on, you know?
Nice. Well, I've got one other thing I've got to ask you before we go. I've got a friend, Campbell, who is a huge fan of your comedy.
Oh, nice.
And so I feel like I got to ask you, could you tell him to come to your show in Jacksonville? And if he doesn't, he's dead to you.
Yeah, no, I'll do that. Yeah, Campbell, nice to see you. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're out there watching out for deer and alligators and whatnot. But listen, I'm coming to town. I'm coming to Jacksonville April 12th. Okay, there's 2 shows, which means you're going to need 2 excuses if you don't get your ass over there. Okay, so come on. I'll make you an old fashioned myself. All right. And you just keep her moving and do me a favor, tell your folks I says hi too. That's very important. All right.
Oh gosh, I love it. I love it. That goes for everybody. All listeners in the Jacksonville area, you need to check out Charlie. His show is coming the 12th at the Terry Theater, so you need to make sure to check him out. Charlie, I want to thank you for taking the time to come on and talk with us today.
Oh, no, thank you guys. This was super fun. I appreciate you. And yeah, if you guys want to come too, you just let me know. I'll get you on the comp list, okay?
Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Listeners, we will be right back here on the Doc G Show.
And we are back here on the Doc G show. You just heard Charlie Berens. Woo! Good stuff, Mike. Good stuff, you know.
Cool guy.
Nice guy. I just saw on his Instagram, actually, he was hanging out. I have no idea. Do you know the football player? I don't think you...
You said football player, and the answer is no.
Now that I'm
most likely.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I think you got it wrong when we went over when he was a birthday suit. George Kittle. Do you remember George Kittle when we?
Yeah, San Francisco 49ers guy.
Yeah. So maybe you didn't get it wrong. Maybe you got that one right. Anyways.
I forgot. I don't think I did. But then afterwards, I was like, I love that
guy. I think that was the one. Yeah, but anywho, I saw that Charlie was hanging out with him just a couple days ago. Yeah. And I was like, oh, look at that. Look at Charlie hanging out with the celebs. You know? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if George Kittle is from like Wisconsin or something. I feel like he is. I just looked it up. He's from Madison, Wisconsin. There you go. It's a Wisconsin thing.
Makes sense.
It's a Wisconsin thing. That Charlie. So Wisconsin. I also, you talk about the old the cold immersion. He also had a video of him going into some cold plunging there. That he posted, and he did not look like he was having fun with it. Did not look like it was a good time for him.
Yeah, no, it stinks. It's terrible. I hate doing it.
But
especially those ice plunges, man. Those people are breaking up ice, getting into that water. Ugh.
Yeah,
that looks terrible.
He's from Wisconsin. He should be used to it. Like that's what they do on the daily there. Good Lord, it's freezing. Anywho. Thanks to Charlie for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Mike, we need to move on, though, to the fastest growing segment in the world.
Mike Seats Top 3.
Okay, Mike. So you suggested that we do party tricks. And then I was like, let's just say tricks.
Tricks.
And I'm going to be honest with you, Mike. When I started thinking about it, I don't have tricks.
Nope.
I was like, maybe this really isn't why this is why I don't go to parties. Cause like, I was like, I got nothing. I got nothing, man. Sadly, like everything on here is just something that I do with exercise science, Mike.
Okay.
Like, that's
okay.
No, it's not a trick. I mean, I thought of it is things that I have helped people with at parties, but it's not true. I don't do anything cool. There is not. I wish I could say I can do a backflip, and people would be like, "What?" No, I can't do that. Mm-hmm. There's nothing, Mike. There's nothing cool that I can. I can't, flip my eyelids inside out. I can't, put a string through my nose and bring it through my mouth. I can't do anything like that, Mike. And
I'm sure that's good. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Steve-O did that on one Jackass episode.
Steve-O's got a lot of tricks.
He's got a ton.
He would crush this top 3.
He has all kinds, and most of them involve his. So you know. Anywho, Mike, do you have any honorable mentions?
I do. I have a couple.
Okay, man. Mike's got tricks. All right, I have
just 2.
I have 0. Give me your honorables.
Okay, so I don't know if this is considered a trick, but it is a party thing, and I feel like objectively I'm pretty good at doing this. Okay. And I've mentioned this on the show before, but I can make some killer macaroons.
You have mentioned that.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's a party trick, but when I go to a party and I bring some macaroons, people are like, "Hey, how did you do that?" Or like, "What did you?" Do you have a recipe, or what are you doing here?
That's a party favor.
So true.
And
party favor. Okay,
you know what?
It's not a trick.
I'll take it though. That's that's again. I can't do it, Mike. I'm not bringing anything to a party that people are excited. I mean, maybe if I buy something, they'll be pretty jazzed, but
Yeah.
not making it.
Okay. Okay, so this one is definitely more of a trick, but I can do French inhale,
For what?
which is when you blow weed smoke out of your mouth and you can suck it back up through your
Ah,
nose.
yeah. You have the little wave. Yes, I know.
Yeah, I can do French inhale, but I have to look at myself in a mirror to do it.
That's interesting. I don't. Well, one, I've never smoked anything, Mike, so I couldn't tell you. But two, I
Yeah.
probably do not have the coordination for it.
It takes a little bit of, but you have to look in a mirror. You would get it, Doc G. I'm sure you would get it.
Now that you mention it, Mike, I do actually have, and this I feel like over the majority of the population can do, but I can easily pat my head and rub my stomach. Either way, I can switch both hands like people like to do. I could rub my head. I could pat my stomach. I can do.
Listeners, both Doc G and I are both doing this at the same time.
Yes. I can do that easy. I equate it to drumming, Mike. So that one is very very easy for me.
You got
to
any
do.
drum tricks?
I mean, I can spin some sticks in my fingers and whatnot.
Oh yeah. Okay. Honorable mention. I can do a couple pin tricks with my fingers.
Okay.
But spinning drums. I mean, hey, that's
It's not too often.
drumsticks.
I mean, I guess that's the thing. If there's a drum set there, I could get on the drums and be like, "Hey guys, I can hold a beat." Is that impressive to anybody? Like, I don't know if that's doing
the
anything.
answer is yes, because most people can.
Anywho, Mike, my number 3, I can tell you why you're not gaining weight at the gym. So I have done this several times at a party. Some bro will come up to me and he'll start talking about him working out and he can't get bigger, and I can pinpoint why he's not getting bigger. It's not a trick. I just know how to cause hypertrophy, Mike. It's not that difficult, but I've done it multiple times, and then afterwards I see those people that are like, if they actually do it, we're like, "Oh my God, dude, you were right." There you go. So,
Nice.
Again, not really a trick. It's just something that when people know that I have a PhD in applied physiology, they will ask me about. So, there you go. There's
Cool.
again.
There you go.
Number 3 for you, Mike.
So this is, I'm going to go in order from, I probably can't do this anymore, to I can definitely still do this.
Okay.
And the most least likely thing I can still do is, I think I've definitely mentioned this on the show, but I rollerblade.
Yes.
I used to. I don't really do it that much anymore. But when I was in my prime skating, I could hit some massive gaps. Specifically, I could jump over things that were a gap.
Ooh.
So it would be like, so I don't even know really how to explain this, but I would just hit some massive gaps.
What would you say
I was
the
good at
highest,
jumping.
the highest like footage? What would you estimate like the highest footage of that gap?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I think I jumped. So this one came to mind, and I actually, if I can find the clips, Doc G, I'll send them to you. But I jumped over a 4-foot, like it had to be at least 4 foot high rail. And then on the other side of that rail was like a 10-foot drop or something stupid like that. Like 10 or 11-foot drop. But yeah, that was like the coolest gap that I ever did. I mean, I did that, and like there was like professional skaters watching me do this. Like, there's no way I'll do that. I'm not doing that. I'm not touching it.
I definitely would not have done that, Mike.
So, yeah.
No way.
That was cool. I used to hit some major stair gaps, Doc G. I mean, pretty big stair gaps.
Mike,
there were definitely
I
guys that could do.
I
bigger
wouldn't
than
have
me,
gone off of a rail onto the ground.
Nope.
There's none of that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. No. Here's what I did rollerblading. Went in one direction. That's my trick. I'm going to stay upright on these while moving. That was my trick. Again, Mike, I don't have tricks. My next one, number 2, Mike. Here you go. Again, more applied physiology. I can analyze people's body movement. So if you want to do a squat in front of me and tell you, I can tell you what's wrong with that squat, I can do that. If you want me to do a lunge or a hip hinge, or if you want me to just analyze your posture, I can do that. So, yeah.
Hey, shout out to you, Doc G. You've helped me with this. You've definitely helped me with my exercises. Hey, how's my posture though? You never say anything about my posture.
Well,
you have.
Yeah, you were really concerned about your upper cross syndrome. You mentioned how you were like, my shoulders round.
I still am.
Well, it's a lot of people have it, Mike. A lot of people have it. Anywho, Mike, you're number 2.
My number 2, I can thread the needle both ways with so I use my right arm and I hold my left foot. Okay. And then I can jump and I can take while holding these feet, holding my foot, I can
bring the other foot.
Other leg
yes.
through it. And I can do it both ways. So I can go forward with my foot and then I can bring it back through the other way.
I know I've done that before at a party. I remember somebody else was doing that as far as dancing, and I was like, I think I can do that. And I did up once and have to break, or maybe 1 or 2 times, but I got it once too, I remember.
It'll take a couple tries sometimes for me, but I think I can still do it.
I was about to say I would probably fall on my face right now and have to have reconstructive surgery. But anywho, Mike, my number 1. This
number 1, Dr.
This is
what do you
pretty
got?
fun, and I've never failed at this. Although I haven't been able to validate it as many times as I like. So, anyways, I can guess people's body composition. What
does that mean?
Like, I can guess how much fat they have on their body.
Oh, okay.
If they're in front of me, I can give them within 2% of what they were actually measured at.
Sweet.
So if they had 17% body fat, I can get within 15 to 19%. And I've done it with at least 25, 30 people.
Okay.
And I'm always accurate on it. And they're always very impressed. They're like, hey, I just had my body composition measured. I'm like, I bet you I can guess. And they're like, oh, go ahead, give it a shot. And I do. And they're like, oh, my God, that's exactly what it said. And I was like, that's what doing a dissertation on body composition for 3 years will do to you. And,
there you go.
Very, very easy to analyze.
Pretty cool.
And I would guess, you haven't had it measured in a while, Mike, but I would,
I don't think I've ever had it measured, yeah.
I would estimate 14% body fat.
14% body fat?
Yeah.
Where do you want to be at?
That's very healthy, Mike. 14's very healthy.
Yeah.
For most guys under the age of 40, you want to solidly be under 25 for sure. For sure.
Be under 25.
Once you get over 25, that's getting excessive.
Where is peak athletic body fat percentage? What does that look like?
Well, insane, DK Metcalf, Mike. Have you ever heard of that guy?
Look him up.
DK Metcalf. He's a receiver in the NFL. And just go ahead. You can put DK Metcalf shirtless, and you'll be blown away by the chiseled nature of this man.
This guy's
He's completely jacked, right? Makes Matt Damon look like a pile of puke.
Ideal body right there.
He is shredded. Now the crazy part about him is, Mike, they literally measured him under 2% body fat at the NFL Combine. Under 2%. Now, most people in most human male adults need at least 1 to 3% essential body fat. We can't go below that level or it's unhealthy for you. And that number varies from person to person. Some people can have more body fat. Some people need less body fat. But, if you're talking about bodybuilders, you're talking about super elite athletes, you're talking in that ballpark of literally they carry around 2% body fat most of the time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, that's the goal one day. One day, Doc G.
No, it's never going to happen.
Just for a small period, just for a small period of time.
Yeah, for a lot of people, that's just bananas. That's never going to happen.
65-cent breakfast, some oats, and you just and steak, and that's it.
It's got to be Spartan existence.
For like 3-4 months, right?
Spartan existence. Mike, what is your number one?
My number one, I can solve a Rubik's Cube without... Here's the key, and this is what I'm most proud of, no algorithm.
Wow. So
I never looked up any algorithms.
This is just you knowing
Rubik's
it.
Cube. I created my own algorithm in my mind, and I solve the Rubik's Cube. Now, I can't do it in 10 seconds. Okay, it might take me a few minutes, but I can solve that sucker.
Mike, let me tell you something. I cannot at all. Again, no party trick. I will sit there for 2 days just spinning colors, being like, the red's over here one time, and then it moves over there. I got nothing, you guys. So,
well, Doc G, that's exactly what I did, except it was like a week of me just getting super high, and I would just sit with a Rubik's Cube at the end of the night. After I would do stand-up, I would come home, I would just get super high and just sit with a Rubik's Cube in my hand. And there was one time, man, I solved it in like literally 5 seconds, and I was like, I don't know how I did that.
Mike,
it was pretty interesting, but
I don't know if this is good or if it's bad. I'm going to be honest. Yeah. I have had a couple of students in the past that was like their party trick, and they would tell me. Like, I had like one dude. Now I'm guessing he looked up some kind of algorithm, but he could look at it, and then put a blindfold on and do it in under a minute.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is they get there. It's just like a cheat code. It's like up, down, left, right.
It's a muscle memory thing. Yes.
Yeah.
You memorize those movements, and you memorize the.
Yeah. See, that makes it not fun for me. I feel like you get more something with your mind training when you don't do that.
Sure, you had to unlock it. You had to unlock it, Mike.
Anyways,
what is our topic next week? Let's hope it's something I have more of.
For sure, Doc G. I'm sure this is going to take some thinking, for sure, for me. But top 3 least enjoyable popular foods.
Okay, things that other people like that you don't like. Okay, yeah, I like that one. I like that. Because I think I'll zag where a lot of people zig. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, I definitely do.
I mean, I'll be able to think of. Don't get me wrong, I'll be able to think of them. But I'll have to think. There's one I know that it's not like I dislike. It's just other people love it, and I'm like, it's fine. Like, I think that's going to be most of mine, actually, Mike, is not like not me hating them. It's just like, because, like, I'm a disposal. I'll eat anything. So, like,
same.
Yeah. But there's just things that people like, yeah. I know what you're saying. There's definitely things people will, like, tell me, oh, we're going to go get this. And I'm like, really? All right. And then it's just, then it's like a subpar meal for me that I'm like, all right, we're going to go get that. All right. Yeah, and then it's like just mediocre. So I get you. I like it, Mike. I like it. Okay.
All right, cool.
Okay, Mike. We have 2 birthday suits left. One, massively famous basketball player. 2, pretty famous football coach.
Let's go pretty famous football coach.
Okay. Born on April 16, 1952, our birthday suit wearer is dating a 24-year-old
Bill
cheerleader.
Belichick.
Yeah, there it is. All right.
So funny.
I figured you could get that one, Mike. I figured you could. He is now the head coach of the UNC Tar Heels. So first, he had a pretty interesting career. So he played college football at a Division III school, and then as soon as he graduated, he was the assistant to the head coach for the Baltimore Colts. And this isn't like not assistant coach, Mike. He was just like an assistant, like get my coffee and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So he was the assistant, And then the next year, he got to be the assistant special teams coach with the Detroit Lions. So again, he's not just an assistant coach like the special teams coach. He's the assistant coach to the special teams coach. So really down the chain. Then in 1979, he started working with the New York Giants as a defensive assistant. Then from 91 to 95, he became the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Then he went to the New York Jets with Bill Parcells. And then in 2000, he took over as the head coach of the New England Patriots, where he coached 24 seasons. They ended up winning 17 division titles. They made it to the AFC Championship 13 times. They were in the I mean, that's crazy to think. AFC Championship over half of the years that he was the coach. And he was the coach for 24 years. That is bananas. Super Bowl 9 times, and they won 6. And he has the most playoff coaching wins of all time. And yes, he is dating a 24-year-old. And he is turning... Carry the 5, 457, 73, Mike. Turning 73. There you go. All right, Mike, I think you've got the second person, or the third person as well. We got to bring it on home. Just the other day, I was thinking of that one person that loves to come in and just listen to the last birthday suit. And I was like, we got to really sell it for that guy. We got to make sure. But here we go. Born on April 16th, 1947 in New York City. Our birthday suit wearer is one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He played college basketball at UCLA, winning 3 consecutive championships under John Wooden, and he won the most valuable player of the NCAA tournament 3 times. He was picked first overall in the NBA draft by the Milwaukee Bucks, spent 6 seasons with the Bucks, winning a championship with them in 1971. In 1975, he was traded to the Lakers, where he won 5 more championships. He is a 6-time MVP champion. He is a 6-time MVP winner. He is a 6-time champion. He is a 19-time All-Star. He is a 15-time All-NBA player. He is an 11-time All-Defensive Team player. He is a 2-time scoring champion. He is a 4-time block leader. And until 2 years ago, when LeBron passed him, he had the most points ever in NBA history. Name that birthday suit wearer.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is correct. Yes. There we go, Mike. Big old Kareem. For extra points, Mike, do you know what chronic disease Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has and he advertises for medication for?
No.
You don't watch as many news programs as I do, Mike. It's
Yeah, I
on
guess
there
not.
all the time. He has AFib, Mike, atrial fibrillation. Yes, in the old heart. Pretty serious if untreated, but he treats it, Mike. He treats it, and he advertises about it.
So
but
true.
nonetheless, Mike, shout out to Kareem. Always enjoyed Kareem. Seems like a real nice guy. And he is, I mean, you know, he is one of the greats. He is always listed in one of the greats. I mean, I will point out right now, one more MVP than Michael Jordan. He has 6 MVPs, the most ever in NBA history. And somewhat like LeBron James, Mike, he had to live up to the hype. You know, that's the crazy thing about Kareem, is everybody was talking about from the time that he went into college, this is the greatest player ever. And he had to live up to that, and he did. I mean, you know, 19-time All-Star, 6-time MVP, 6-time championship. I would say that's living up to it and more, you know? So
Yeah, definitely.
super impressive, you know?
He's a beast.
Yeah. And just came up with his own, well, he patented his own shot there, the old sky hook. The old sky hook. Unguardable, the sky hook. But anywho, happy birthday to Bill Belichick, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Martin Lawrence. Mike, we need to wrap it up. Also, just a fun note for listeners. You may notice that the show is now ending with a different song than it normally does. A little fun fact about the song. I accidentally recorded somebody's song that was not Ballyhoo's, Mike. So Ballyhoo, who was on the show before, right? Their lead singer, Howie, he likes to make sort of your lo-fi hip-hop sort of beats, adds a little reggae flair in there.
That's a fact.
And one time he did that, and he put the album out, and he put a message out on Instagram that said, hey, anybody that wants to use these, feel free. You can use them for podcasts. You can use them for whatever you want. And I was like, oh, dope. No copyrights. Awesome. So I recorded all of them. Well, I accidentally recorded one extra song while I was recording them, because Apple just went in right to the next song, and I didn't even notice that it was on there. Well, that song was not theirs, of course. And that song had copyright issues. So I got a notice from Spotify that was like, hey, you've got copyright infringement on these episodes. Remove it now. And I was like, oh. And then the funny thing, Mike, is they told me I had copyright issues on the least popular episodes of the show. Because it was from 3 years ago. They pulled that one up, and I was just like, what? And then they didn't say copyright infringement on any of the others. I don't get it, Mike. It's ridiculous. But anyways, listeners, you'll notice that song will slowly be eradicated from the end of our show because we don't have rights to it. And I know if I asked the people who made the song, they'd be like, yeah, sure, it's only $5,000 per episode. And I'd be like, which I was thinking about, Mike. Trust me, I'm all about the artist. I want artists to get paid. But at the same time, I'm like, shouldn't I have to pay the same amount as streaming services for that song? So shouldn't I have to pay if a person streams our show and they hear that little snippet of your song, however many times my show is streamed, that's how many times I should have to pay for the song.
That's a fact.
Like, I should pay, and let's be honest, that'd be like 10 cents. I should have to pay like 10 cents for it. But I know that's
for
not
each stream, but not real. But
no, for cumulatively.
Like 1,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cumulatively, it'd be like 1,000 streams. That's what I'd be paying for. But that's not what it'd be. They'd be like, yeah, you can pay $17 million. And I'd be like, I'm good. Right? Anyways, Mike, I just wanted to let people know that's why it has now stopped being used. So there you go. It's a great jam, and I'll miss it at the end of the show, but what can you do? So anywho, yeah. We need to wrap it up. I have been your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus, the Verticus, Charette.
Always a pleasure, Doc G. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And until next week, zip it up and zip it out.
Zip-a-doo-dah.